but cop pulls up to a motel. This black dude who I think was off his meds, naked, starts running at the cop while the cop is still in his squad car, and he shoots him dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he says over the radio something like he attacked me, or whatever. Later he says, like, no, he never attacked me, but he was going to. And they're like, the prosecution's like, he was naked. What were you worried he was going to do? Like, dick you to death or something? Like,
I don't know, that one I could kind of see though. I mean, like I do kind of get the cops being on edge. Like, they are trained and they have seen some shit where anything could happen. Like, honestly, like, because the first thing that pops in my head is, what if this guy, has something taped to his back? Like, what if he had like a bomb or something? Like, your brain could go everywhere with that.
I get that, but
that one's different to me than all the times when they tell somebody, or they're completely complying. They're just doing what the cops tell them to do, and then they shoot them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck is that?
And see, the reason that I'm more on the opposite, on the side with the naked person thing, I'm on the opposite side of you, where I'm like, he was naked. You can't. I'm sorry. It's like when I see these ones where somebody runs away and they actually did have a gun in their pocket, or whatever, I'm like, you should not be allowed to shoot him in the back.
Yeah.
And I sort of am of the opinion, like, unless you're in my house and I don't want to risk that you could ever come back. Like, if I was in a 7-Eleven and somebody was robbing the place and I was going to be Mr. Savior, I don't know that I would shoot him in the head. I feel like I'd shoot him in a place to stop
Disable them, yeah.
But, like, in my house, I'm going to shoot to kill, period.
Yeah.
But, like, this guy's naked. I just don't know how you can tell me he posed a threat to, because I don't know how the law is written, but I think that the way they get away with it so easily is because you just have to be in perceived danger of harm.
Yeah.
You don't have to think you're going to die.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm thinking too, is like, okay, fine. This guy's naked, but he's running towards me. If I let him get too close to me, he could take my gun. He could, for all I know, be really, really good at just like strangling me.
Sure.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, is that's why I get that one. I mean, not that it's an excuse, but I get that one. I just don't get the people that are complying and they just either choke him to death or kill him. The other thing that I've asked a law enforcement person that I know, and they say, because they say, everybody always says, why don't you just shoot them in the leg? Why don't you just taser them? All that stuff. And he says, there's two things to remember. One is that it happens so fast.
Sure.
And you got to remember that. Two is that it's actually really, really hard to do both of those things, I guess. It's pretty hard to try like hit a moving target. I don't shoot that many guns, but I imagine it's true. Like,
hitting a moving target
target is really hard. And so if you're aiming for something, you have to weigh the option of, if I let this guy go, will he turn around and kill somebody or kill me? Mm-hmm. So what should I try to do? Should I try to shoot him just to stop him dead? Or should I try to aim and just like hit his heel so that way he stops running and then I can go up to him and blah, blah. And then the other thing about the taser is that I guess the taser is really hard to work or something. The taser is like not like super hard, but it's like they're supposed to shoot. They're supposed to use their guns. That's what I heard.
My understanding is that the taser is more of a, before the altercation is not. I mean, that sounds dumb, but like if you are if there's a person who's standing in front of you not complying, not actively doing anything, they don't have a weapon or any of that, but they're not complying, then you have time to use your taser.
Yeah.
But if there's any sort of like fighting or physical whatever, your gun is what you're supposed to use.
Yeah.
Now, everybody that shoots guns, when you shoot a target, you're shooting for center mass. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unless you're a target shooter and like you pride yourself on being able to shoot the beer cap off of a Budweiser.
Yeah.
Then you're going to shoot for center mass. I mean, that's what it is. Also, what people don't realize is, like, you look at Sean Taylor. He was the corner for the Redskins that died, like 6, 7, 8 years ago, whenever it was. He got shot in the leg, and
Yeah.
he died.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So like, just getting shot in the leg does not mean that like you're gonna live or that they're gonna live or whatever.
Yeah.
So one of the defense in this case, one of the defense's argument was, you realize that my client had less time to react than it's taken you to say he was running towards you naked and he pulled it and you pulled your gun out and you shot this man dead. That took you 8 seconds to say that. My client had 3 seconds to actually think about what was going on. And so I get the timing of certain cases. Now, I don't know enough about this case in Fort Worth to know why this person was shot through the window.
Dude.
But it's one of those things that doesn't look really good for the cop, if you ask me.
No,
like, I don't know how
doesn't,
it could.
and I still just don't get that's like law enforcement and police, they're brotherhoods. They are, anybody in that field is 100% going to have the cops back. There's hardly ever a cop who's going to be like, well, he shouldn't have done that. That's just how they roll. That's how they roll. But it's getting to a point where it's kind of like with, like we're joking about the internet with Swanson, where it's like, I have proof, I'd love to hear you explain your way out of this one. And there's not going to be an explanation. Like, there's just not. So, it's getting to that point where, but once again, I don't know. It's, you just bring it full circle. It feels like a powder keg. It feels like there's some shit that's going to, go down here eventually that is going to, something's got to.
It's going to be, I don't think we're going to have like a civil war or anything crazy, outlandish like that. My honest worry is that things are going to get so bad for whatever reason. I don't think that it's just going to be that Trump is the president and whatever, but there are things that are absolutely happening in the world. But when I say that, I literally mean the U.S. I don't really. Yeah. I'm not talking about what the fuck is happening over in
Syria.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that right now. I'm worried that like segregation, not legalized segregation, not like everybody knows that you can't use that drinking fountain or that type of shit, but that people are just going to start going that way. Like, fuck it, I can't do anything right with my black friends, so I just won't have any black friends. Or black people I can't deal with white people. I'm not going to talk to them anymore. And then all of a sudden we're in a situation where fights are breaking out and things like that are literally happening once again because that person's black, that person's white, or that person's wearing red, that person's wearing blue, that sort of shit.
What I hope is going to change, and I think that's why it's getting darker now, is that eventually these good old boys they're all going to die.
Yeah.
And the only hope is that our generation, no matter what you were taught, is going to be less racist. Like that you're just that we're so used to it, that it's like, okay, like it's thinking about, like with gay people, it's like kids nowadays, like Wyatt and Caden, they didn't have to go through the whole thing where it was like, ew, that's weird.
Right.
They're just like, oh yeah, they're gay. Okay, that means they like, blah, blah. So that's my hope. But I do think that those good old boys are holding on for dear life.
Well, which would make sense if it was just the good old boys. I think that's a lot of them. But, we're growing up in a society where, think about, there's times where I wonder, because I have a lot of law enforcement friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like the little like the Livestrong bracelet.
Yeah, I remember.
I have one of those that's like the thin blue line.
Yeah.
I'll wear that because nobody will ever notice it. I would be worried to put a thin blue line American flag hanging outside my house.
Right, yeah.
And not because I am ashamed of it, just because some people see that like the blue lives matter or saying all lives matter as saying that black lives don't matter. And I don't want to be pouring gas on the fire. With that being said, it's hard because it's like, I know some people that live their life like every police officer on the face of the planet hates black people, wants to shoot and kill them, and they're terrible people. I know people that really believe that. right? And to an extent, I understand their feeling of why I don't agree with it, but I understand why they feel that way, right? Those people have kids. And if they are raising them to say, listen, son, like, if you have an issue, you can't call the police.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That's just going to further facilitate that this is never going to end.
Yeah, I mean, and thinking about it too, because I was thinking about the Tiki Torch whites.
Yes.
Those were like young kids, you know. But the other thing that I will say, just backtracking, is that whole All Lives Matter is a shut up black people movement. Like,
I agree.
That's totally
I agree. I think the argument both ways, that what I've heard is us, when I say us, I'm talking about a black person saying Black Lives Matter, is not saying that your lives don't matter.
Yes, exactly.
It's saying that our lives do matter.
Yes.
And so people that get offended by it, you know, like I agree. When I say all lives matter, I'm not saying it. I don't go around and say all lives matter.
Yeah.
Like to counteract Black Lives Matter. I just happen to believe that everybody matters. Yeah, I'm one of those people that believes that everybody matters.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Cubs fan. I don't fucking like that.
Red Sox, Patriots fans.
But
Golden State Warriors fans.
In reality, it's like I just don't say it out loud. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, clearly all lives do matter, but yeah, I saw a picture of it was a really cool picture, and I wish I would have remembered where it was. You could probably find it on the internet, but it was a black girl crying, and there was a white hand over her mouth, and the white hand said all lives matter.
Right.
And so that's the picture of what it is.
Right. And so, I you know, I'm not ignorant enough to sit here and say that, like, I don't see color. That's the dumb, when people say that, it's so
that
stupid.
Shit.
But there's this video, you may have seen it, where it's like two kindergartners, a little white boy and a little black boy. And the little white dude went to the barber and was like, this is a picture of my friend. I want this haircut.
Yeah, you talked about this.
And then he comes to school and he goes, you guys won't be able to tell us apart now because you have the same haircut. And like that is like a little cutesy, like he sees his friend, they have the same haircut. He doesn't even comprehend that they're different colors.
Right.
So you know, that is where I wish society was. It's just like we're all fucking human, and there needs to be more people that will just come out and be like, yo, we're all the same person. You know, like a friend shared a meme that said, hey, racist, your son needs a blood transfusion, pick the white one, and it's like 4 bags of blood. And it's like, it's true. It's unbelievable to me that racism and all that exists. I just don't I get it.
It'll never go away.
I know.
That's what sucks.
I know. And it's